Hi, girls. Welcome back to Girl Therapy. I'm your host, Nicole. I want to get into some questions that you guys asked me on Instagram. So let's see. Somebody said, can we talk about forgiveness relating to ups and downs in friendships? I actually brought a book because I read something last night that I was like, this is going to be amazing. This is The Power of Now. This is one of my favorite books. I'm rereading it. Forgiveness is to relinquish your grievance and so to let go of grief. It happens naturally once you realize that your grievance serves no purpose except to strengthen a false sense of self. Forgiveness is to offer no resistance to life, to allow life to live through you. The alternatives are pain and suffering, a greatly restricted flow of life energy, and in many cases, physical disease. The moment you truly forgive, you have reclaimed your power from the mind. Non-forgiveness is the very nature of the mind. Just as the mind made false self, the ego cannot survive without strife and conflict. The mind cannot forgive, only you can. Forgiveness is to offer no resistance. I love that. Forgiveness is just accepting things for how they are. Forgiveness is just saying, yeah, that thing happened. I'm going to take what I can from that and move on. I'm not going to let my ego get in the way of me, in this case, letting that person go. I don't need to prove that I am a good friend. I don't need to prove that I am worthy of unconditional love. And that's why, this scenario with Jessica, I will say, I do forgive her. Am I going to forget? No. Am I going to let her back in my life? No. But the only person I feel bad for in this scenario is her. I don't really feel bad for her because she did it to herself, but I can forgive what she did. I'm not going to sit here and talk shit about her. I'm not going to stoop down to her level. I told my truth. I told my story, and that's it. When you forgive, you're able to let go and move on. I don't mean continue to forgive, and allow people in your energy. Somebody does you wrong, you address the problem, and then you don't give them any more of your energy. There's nothing more powerful than that. Forgiving somebody, being okay walking away from that situation with maybe no closure, because you just know what you have to offer, and you just know that you're a good person, and you know that you don't deserve that because you know your worth. If you know your worth, you can let shit go, and you can walk away knowing that I was a great friend. I'm a great person. I showed up as my authentic self, and they have to live with that. That's their burden to bear. At the end of the day, the only person who's losing in a situation where somebody does wrong by you is them. In this case of Jessica, she lost a great friend. She doesn't deserve somebody like me. Sometimes people don't deserve you. Some people don't deserve to have access to your energy. And the more that you allow people to access your energy when they don't deserve it, people will take that. If you're forgiving somebody, I would just keep a mental log. If it's little things, you can forgive and move on. But if you're really not able to move on from that situation, if you feel like you're going to hold it against them, then you need to maybe step back from that friendship. Give energy to people who aren't people that you constantly have to forgive. When somebody does you wrong constantly, it's time for you to reevaluate, why am I allowing this person into my life? Also, that person's not stupid. They know what they're doing. If they're not able to take any accountability, if they're not able to change and grow and be a better person, then they're just going to be somebody who's constantly trying to bring you down. That is definitely a situation for you to gauge. How many times is it acceptable for somebody to do wrong by you? Somebody said, is it normal for a really good friend to ghost you out of nowhere? No, that's not normal. That's actually the opposite of normal. I have never ghosted in my friends, nor would any of my friends let me ghost them. If I didn't answer them, they would definitely call me and be like, what? Where did you go? I think a really good way to put it is, would you ghost a really good friend? I hope you said no. If you said no, then there's your answer. That's not normal. Somebody said, friends who check in versus friends you only hear from when they need a favor. That's not a friend. Friends that check in, we love that. Somebody is thinking about you. Whenever I think about one of my friends, I always send them a text, hey, just thought about you. Hope you're doing okay. And that means a lot more. If you're not able to hang out with somebody every single day, if you don't have the time to give them a phone call and talk for an hour, sending them a text could make them just think like, okay, they're thinking about me. People that you only hear from when you need a favor is disgusting. I had somebody in my life who only contacted me when he needed something. He never asked me how I was doing. I started a podcast. He never asked me how my podcast was doing. As soon as he started a podcast, go follow my podcast. I have a podcast question, blah, 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 blah. I'm just like, wait, where were you these last 4 months when I was creating my podcast? You don't even follow my podcast page. Now you want my unwavering support for yours when you've never once supported me. I don't like people who just call you when they want to gain something from you. Those are people who are just sucking your energy. Don't let them have it. Somebody said, what do you do when you don't like your friend's boyfriend and insist on you guys being friends? If you have a good reasoning to not like somebody, again, this is like case by case. I don't really have any friends in my life whose boyfriend I don't like. And it's so important for me that when I do have a boyfriend, that my friends like him, because he's a reflection of me. If I like all my friends and all my friends like me, and I like my boyfriend, the math is that we should all like each other. If you don't like your friend's boyfriend and they're forcing a friendship, I think you just have to say, hey, like, I am in full support of your relationship with this person, but I don't want to have a friendship with them, and I want you to respect that and not push that on me. Just leave it at that. If you don't like how they treat your friend, say your piece, but at the end of the day, your friend's going to do what they want to do. And I would just say, I want to be left out of it. I support you. I love you. I want you to be happy, but I don't want to be a part of that. How do you handle finding out your friend cheated on their boyfriend? We're all friends. That's tough. If you're all friends, I don't know. I think that's their relationship. That's definitely her burden to bear. If she cheated, she needs to be the one to tell him. That's just my personal opinion. I think I would stay out of it. I don't know. That's really tough. I guess it just depends, like, who does your loyalty lie with? Who do you consider a better friend, and who treats you as a better friend? And then you make the decision, but you have to be okay with potentially losing one or both of them as your friend. If you tell him, she might not be your friend anymore. If you don't tell him and he finds out, he might not want to be your friend anymore. Or if you tell him, he might turn against you and be like, you're lying, or I don't care, or they might get back together and now neither of them want to be around you because you brought a harsh truth to the forefront that they both want to deny. So I think you need to decide where your loyalty lies. If you really want to get involved, stand by whatever decision and be okay with potentially losing both of them as your friend. My friend cut me out of nowhere. Is closure needed? I don't think so. If somebody's able to just cut you off and not give you any closure, they clearly don't care enough about you. They don't think that they owe you anything. That should be all the closure that you need. It's gonna suck, but that's just your ego. You need to just be like, okay, they clearly don't care as much as I thought they did, or value this as much as I thought they did. Thank the universe that that person was taken out of your life. This person says, I need advice for knowing when to step away from a long friendship. I feel like I'm being held back. I'm leaving town for a job and they want to follow. Is it wrong that I don't want them to because I want to be alone and explore? I love them and all, but I want to be free. No, there's nothing wrong with that. You should never live your life to appease somebody else. They shouldn't be relying on you that heavily either. Like I said, it would be such a waste. And it would be such a missed opportunity to not grow and make new friends. It's okay to not want to spend every waking moment with one person. It's okay to not want to have somebody who's riding your coattail constantly. It's okay to want to make new friends. That's going to be really hard for that person, but that person should want better for themselves too. That person should want to make other friends. They shouldn't just want to follow in your footsteps their entire life. And if they want to do that, then they obviously have a weird attachment to you. As a friend, me personally, me being in a healthy relationship with my friends, if my friends were going to go move or do something, I would be so excited for them. If my friend wanted to move to New Zealand, if Livy wanted to move to New Zealand, would it suck because she's my best friend? Yeah. But I wouldn't be like, I'm going with you. I would say, great, go. You know, she's out there in LA now making new friends. I want her to make new friends. I want her to be happy. I want her to have other people in her life. That is so important because her happiness, like I said, is my happiness. Your friend should always want better for you. Your friend should always want you to become the best version of yourself. They should want to see you grow and spread your wings and try new things. It's completely normal to want to explore different relationships and friendships. So you should not feel guilty at all. It is your life. And you don't have to like cut them off in a mean way. I would just say like, hey, like, you know, I love you. I love our friendship, but it's really important for me to go and do this alone. Explore new opportunities alone and find myself a little bit. And they should understand that. How do you feel about friends who are down to hang out, but only if you reach first, never them first? There should be even effort there. It shouldn't just be one-sided. The one-sidedness gets old. If you're constantly feeling like you're the only one trying to see the other person, and the same in dating. If a guy is constantly hitting me up to hang out and I've never once asked him to hang out, he's gonna think I don't like him, and I probably don't like him. There comes a point where it has to be mutual. You guys both have to be making time for one another. It can't just be at one person's convenience. In these scenarios where you're the only one putting effort in, stop putting effort in. Leave a little room for that person to show up and prove themselves. Leave a little room for that person to come towards you. If they don't, there's your answer. I know some people aren't great at that stuff, but that's not an excuse. Most people should know by nature how to be a good friend. You text somebody to hang out. If you haven't heard from a friend in a couple of days and you guys usually hang out, you're going to text them to hang out. There shouldn't be a weird ego thing in the way. I don't have any friends in my life who it's just one person constantly calling the other or making plans. It's even. And I wouldn't feel good about a friendship that I was constantly just trying to hang out with that person, that I was the only one making plans, that I was the only one ever engaging. That would make me feel really insecure. If you're constantly throwing yourself at somebody like that, you need to check in with yourself and think, why do I want to keep putting this person in my life who I don't feel is giving me mutual effort? How do you feel about friends that leave you and come back and leave again? How to get past that? There isn't a common point where you just stop letting them back in. You have to learn. You let people prove themselves. Let people show you who they are. If somebody's coming in and out of your life, that's somebody who isn't consistent. That's somebody who isn't reliable. I don't want somebody who just shows up when times are bad or when times are good. You need somebody who you know that you can rely on. You know, I know people will be like, oh, I was so busy. I was so this, I was so that. But then you're not going to be my best friend. Then you're not going to be my right-hand person. You can't just be somebody who comes in and out of my life whenever you want. This isn't a revolving door. You need to be your own bodyguard. You need to be your own doorman. Who are you going to let in? Know your worth. Know when it's time to say no. You can't just come back in whenever you want. I have shit going on. I needed you there for me. I need you there for me. Put your foot down and don't be afraid to lose people. Don't be afraid to let people go. Somebody said, what do you think is the best way to make new friends? Like lifetime friends. Example, you and Livy. She's gonna love this. When you get older, it's hard to make friends as adults. It's not like in college or high school anymore where you're in class with each other or you're kind of like all living in a dorm or sharing the same space. There's less opportunity to meet somebody. When you become an adult, you're busy. You know, you have work, you have hobbies, you have friends who've been in your life, you have animals, you need alone time, you have errands to run, you got to go to UPS, you got to go to FedEx. Like, I don't know why I brought those things up, probably because I have to do those things. Sometimes I'll have to be like, hey, like call up my friend and be like, hey, do you want to like go do an errand with me? Do you want to go to CVS together? Sometimes that's our time together. So, you know, as you get older, I think the best way to meet friends is to do things that you love. Like I've met a lot of people at the gym. I've met a lot of people in yoga and group fitness, at the cafe, just walking around Brickell. Brickell is where I live in Miami, and it is a very small college town type of vibe. So I walk around, I see a lot of the same people. If there's somebody that I, see all the time, I start saying hi to them. And then eventually it turns into a name exchange. I can't tell you how many times that's happened where I just see people all the time to the point where I'm like, well, let's just say hi to each other at this point if we're going to see each other here all the time. And sometimes that's the extent of the friendship, but other times it could be more. Don't be afraid to put yourself out there and say hi. Don't be afraid to approach somebody and compliment them. Go to places that you love and look approachable. Don't have your headphones in. Don't sit in a corner. It's really important that you're confident in yourself when making friends. It's really important that you're okay with putting yourself out there, being okay with potential rejection. Maybe it's a little awkward at first, whatever it is, but there's only things to gain. The more you say hi to somebody, the more comfortable you get with engaging in conversation with people, the higher the chance that you're going to find somebody, the higher the chance that you're going to find a friend. People are just people. There's nothing to be afraid of. I think the best way to make friends is to surround yourself with people that you want to be surrounded with. Go to places that you enjoy because you already have something in common with those people. And I think it's really important now when you're older, in your mid-20s, to have people who around you who have similar lifestyles as you. I'm not going to be friends with a crazy partier. I'm not going to be friends with somebody who maybe doesn't live as much of an active lifestyle. Everybody who I have in my life, we're all very different. We have different things going on. We have different careers, but we all have very similar values. And I think that's what's important to creating lifetime friendships. And it's also important that the people that you have around you challenge you and are also surrounding themselves with a lot of good people, have a lot of similar interests, people who are able to like grow and change together. Lifetime friends are people who are constantly growing with each other instead of growing apart. Your differences and your different paths shouldn't bring you apart, if that makes sense. I'm maybe not the version of myself that I'm going to be in 6 months, but I know that because me and the friends that I have in my life have such similar values at our core, we're going to grow together and we're going to adapt. The friendships have to be more than just surface level. They have to be more than just materialistic. I'm not just going to be friends with somebody because they're pretty. I'm not just going to be friends with somebody because they have a lot of money. I'm not going to be friends with somebody because they have really nice clothes or they know somebody else who like I think is really cool. This trick to having lifetime friends is just like relating on a deeper level and liking each other for exactly who you are then and there. I accept my friends for who they are. As they are. I know they're really good people at their core and we're only all going to get better together, which is why every year that we grow and change, we become stronger. I don't need to go out and drink with my friends to feel connected with them. I don't need to only constantly be doing things that they enjoy to feel connected with them. I don't need to be gossiping to feel connected with them. I don't feel like I need to have conflict or drama going on in my life to connect with them or talk to them. It's really important that the people that you want to grow with and be lifetime friends with, it's more than just a surface level thing. Maybe it starts surface level. Maybe you see them and you're like, wow, I really like your jacket. And that's how the friendship grows, sure. But you can't just only be friends with that person because you like their jacket. The people that I have in my life are people who I really value their opinions, who I admire, and who I see parts of myself in, or parts of me that like I want to be like them. Those are the people that I keep in my life. Because they're the people who challenge me and they're the people who I know are going to call me out for my shit, or people whose like opinions I respect. Making new friends is just about putting yourself out there and showing up as yourself. That's it. What to do with a friend you have outgrown but keep around for comfort? That's a personal problem. Why are you keeping that person around? Somebody shouldn't just be in your life as a pawn. Somebody shouldn't be in your life because they're comfortable. Are they adding value? Are they bettering your life? I don't know how it could be comfortable to keep around somebody that you've outgrown. That comes down to you just figuring out why you're not okay with letting somebody go and what it is that you're holding on to. There's been people in my life who nothing bad has happened. We've shared amazing memories together. We just outgrew each other. Maybe we've known each other for a really long time or since we were younger. That stuff doesn't all just diminish or go away just because we're not as close anymore or we're not friends anymore. It's okay to see a friendship for what it was. Be okay with being like, well, that's what it was. And it was an amazing friendship while it lasted. And there's somebody who I really still do have love for and respect for, and I shared amazing memories with. And that just doesn't go away. That just isn't erased. But I don't exactly need this person in my life. We don't exactly connect like that anymore. There's no reason to try to pick apart, why things have changed, because you've changed. When you grow up, you change. When you mature, you change. You're not the same person. So if you're just keeping around somebody for comfort, it's like, find different ways to comfort yourself. You should be seeking comfort in the people who you have in your life around you now, who you haven't outgrown, who you're growing with. Find comfort in those people. Don't just run back to the people in your life who you outgrew because it's easy or because you feel, almost better than them, if that makes sense. Like maybe you outgrew this person and because you're doing, so much better and you're in a better place in your life and they're kind of still stuck and you keep them around because they make you feel good about yourself. That's not good. That's not going to make either of you guys feel good. If you've truly outgrown them, let them go. Be okay with taking a risk and maybe being uncomfortable for a little bit. If that leaves you with zero friends, so be it. How do you handle friendships where that person envies you or is jealous of you? That's not a friendship. I don't have any friends in my life who I look at and I'm like, oh my God, I'm so jealous of them. I think jealousy is the worst quality to have and the most wasted energy. Jealousy can be good if used properly. If I look at my friend and I have that, they get something, they succeed in something that I want, and I have that like one instant moment of like, oh, I wish that happened to me. I'm so jealous. But I don't let that control me. And I don't let that project onto that friendship. I want to be happy for that person. I want to then be like, wow, yeah, hell yeah, I surround myself with somebody like that who accomplished that goal, because it proves to me that I'm surrounding myself with the right people. I'm aligning myself with the right people, and I can have that too. If they can have it, I can have it. I'm not jealous of them. Their success doesn't take away from mine. I would never want to be jealous of one of my friends. That is the most poisonous thing. And to continue to surround yourself with somebody who's jealous of you is also poisonous. That person is only trying to tear you down, and you are never going to grow. You are never going to reach your highest potential if you keep that person in your energy. People who are jealous or envious, it's really sad because they're telling themselves, I can't have that. anything that you're ever jealous or envious of, you are saying to yourself, I'm not worthy of that. I can't have that. The people who are like that, the people who are filling their brain with that, are not going to want what's best for you. They're not going to be happy for you. They're not going to put good energy towards you or at you. They're probably going to talk shit about you. They're going to try to bring you down because they can't accept the fact that maybe they can't have that or they won't have that because they're going to hold themselves back. They're the only person holding them back. I kept somebody around who was jealous of me. And I constantly tried to humanize her. I constantly tried to make excuses for her. I was constantly trying to put myself in her shoes. I was almost bringing myself down to make her feel more comfortable. I was watering down my accomplishments to make her feel comfortable or to make her not feel bad, to protect her. But I was like, why am I not protecting my own energy? I should be proud of myself. My friends should be proud of me and want what's best for me. The only way to handle a jealous friend is to distance yourself from them. Get that motherfucker out of your life because that jealousy is not just going to go away. They're going to keep trying to bring you down to make themselves feel better. They're going to want to keep you on their level. They're not going to want to see you go off and accomplish all your goals and dreams. And if you are surrounding yourself with that energy, you might actually get held back. You might actually not succeed, and that'll give them exactly what they want. You know, when I had a jealous friend, I used to be, I'll just ignore it, or I know she's just projecting. I know she doesn't mean it. I know she's just jealous. But it's like, ew. And they'll always deny that they're jealous. So there's no really resolving that. You can't just be like, hey, like, you're a jealous person, and suddenly they're in full support and whatever. I think a jealous person is probably talking badly about you and definitely giving you evil eye and definitely putting bad juju in you. And you might start to believe the things that they say. If they have negative comments about you, if they say negative things to you when you are doing great things or you're proud of yourself for something, or they're trying to bring you down, you think you look good and they're like, oh no, I don't really like that, whatever. You actually might start believing that. So you need to get rid of that from your life. Otherwise, you will inhibit your own growth. I don't want to see that for you. Don't give them what they want. Okay, somebody said, my single friend gets mad that I spend more time with my boyfriend than her, even though I do prioritize her and my time together. Anytime I say I can't hang out because I already have legitimate plans with my boyfriend, she makes me feel bad and says I'm always busy and never have any time for her. Am I in the wrong? Listen, like, it's so important that you maintain your friendships even when you're in a relationship. I've had friends who are really good about that, and I've also had friends who are really bad about that. And the thing is that, like, when they break up with their boyfriends, it's kind of like, okay, well, now you're using me, or it's like, now you have time for me. Now you want me back in your life, that you're single or you're going through heartbreak. It starts to be like, are you using me? You're only coming to me when you need something from me type of vibe. And that's not a good place to be in. Nobody wants to feel like that. So it's really important that when you're in a relationship, you try to maintain the friendships around you as much as you can. That's like another like jealousy thing. Like, she should, obviously your best friend, like, it's gonna hurt a little bit because you're now spending a lot of time with your boyfriend. Maybe you guys are in the honeymoon phase and he's probably now your best friend too. And she's sharing, but it shouldn't be a competition. And I think that as long as you're making time to prioritize her and maintain your friendship, she can't say anything. In these scenarios where you are spending time with your boyfriend, you need to be an adult and she needs to be an adult. And you need to just say, hey, like, I'm spending time with my boyfriend. I have these plans with my boyfriend, but I would love to see you on this day. And make sure when you're spending time with her, you're spending real quality time together. And you still make her feel like she's important and valuable. If she feels like that your friendship is being threatened, then maybe you need to make more of an effort to be there for her. But she also needs to know that your relationship with him doesn't threaten your guys' relationship. It's a little bit of like, both of you need to put in the work here. When I get a boyfriend, I know, like, yeah, maybe some things that I used to do with my friends will change. I'll be going to dinner with him maybe instead of them, but I'm still going to make sure to prioritize my friends and make time for them as well. It's so important that you maintain a life outside of your relationship. Your relationship shouldn't become your entire life, and that person shouldn't just be your everything, because God forbid you guys do break up, who's going to be there for you? You want to still have solid friends who don't feel like you only kept them around when you were single. So my friends who've kind of ghosted me as soon as they got into relationships are not people who are my friends now. I will say that. And I have plenty of friends who are in really good relationships, who are in very serious relationships, who our dynamic has not changed at all. And I'm never threatened by my girlfriend's boyfriends. because I know where I stand with them. It would be really immature of me to get upset that my friend's happy and in a relationship. If they're at dinner without me, I can understand that. I don't want to go on your romantic dinner. I don't, you have to let your friends be happy and be in relationships. Being in a relationship isn't an excuse to not have time for your friends. So make sure you're spending time with her. And if you are putting in the time and effort to hang out with her, that's all you can do. And if she's still insecure in that friendship, then she needs to get a life. She needs to, maybe fill her time with some other friends, or she needs to work on her relationship with herself. That pretty much wraps up today. I hope that you guys feel a lot better about things that are going on in your life. I think toxic friendships, we've all been through it. We've all experienced something like it. I'm really sorry if you are going through something like this. I'm really sorry if you are going through a friendship breakup, but know that it's all happening for a reason. Some friendships aren't made to last forever. When you let people go, you grow. When you let people go, you allow space for new people to come into your life. Just know that you're not alone. Nobody is immune to a bad friendship. Just because a friendship doesn't last doesn't mean that it was a waste, and it doesn't mean that you're a bad person. It's not a reflection of you. It's going to be hard, but you will get through it. Be selective of who you allow in your circle. Be selective, be sexy. Don't let people walk all over you. At the end of the day, you have to be your own best friend. I hope that this was the therapy session that you needed. I'm really proud of you guys. I love you. Besos, besos.